Hey, what's up, everybody? Halloween is fast approaching. We are probably in the second week of September of this year, and I usually around this time really get excited because Halloween is my favorite holiday of the year. The only one I really like, quote unquote, celebrate, and I usually like to draw a lot of monsters around that time, and I usually do a lot of drawing of the classic monsters of Hollywood, the classic horror monsters, like Frankenstein's monster, Creature of the Black Lagoon, the Bride of Frankenstein, Dracula, of course, the Mummy, Werewolf, that staple of characters that everyone loves, that everyone knows about, and a few others here and there. But what I wanted to do in this video right here, I'm going to draw Frankenstein's monster, and for the sake of the video, I'm going to call him Frankenstein because most people, the correct title is Frankenstein's monster, but we all call him Frankenstein. Okay, so I'm going to call him Frankenstein. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you step by step as I create this sketch of Frankenstein. I'm in Clip Studio Paint. I'm going to use three different layers over here. As you can see, I have my bottom layer, which is my outline layer, then I have a sketch 1 and a sketch 2. Each one of these layers has the symmetry ruler engaged on it. All I did was I took the bottom layer and I just did a duplicate for the next two layers because I want the symmetry tool to be on each layer as I do it, for the simple fact of why I use the symmetry tool sometimes in my drawings. And if you're not aware of what the symmetry tool is a tool that allows you to draw on one side of the screen and it will create a mirror image on the other side. And this helps for, say for instance, if like I primarily use a symmetry tool to just, like, if I'm sketching and I want to make sure that the eyes are correct, or I want the same look with the eyes, I want the nose to be positioned right, I want the ears to be positioned right, just little subtle things. I pretty much will freehand everything, but sometimes the symmetry tool really helps me to get things down quickly and to make sure everything looks the way I need it to look. And if you use the symmetry, I know some people are might consider the symmetry tool cheating. It's not cheating. It's a tool for you to use. Now, if you're totally reliant upon it, then it's how you want to interpret it. But for me, I use the symmetry tool as a tool to help me to get down things quickly and to get those details down that I want to look exact. Okay. So, what I'm gonna do is let's talk about your classic vision of Frankenstein. And usually there's a certain look that we go for with Frankenstein, and that we see with a classic Frankenstein look. So what I'm going to start with is I want to lay down an outline of the face. So Frankenstein, if you look at his face, it's usually like a triangular, very square triangular. It starts at the top of the head, and I'm just going to draw this triangular shape down like this and just rough it out really nice and smooth like that. So this is where, and what I meant by a triangular, like, you usually, when I picture the classic Frankenstein, most of the shape of his head is around the top part of his head. He has that huge elongated forehead, the over exaggerated forehead, the eyebrows, the big eyebrows, the jawline, and the very square jawline, and all the detailing in the face. So that's where I'm going to go with this. So that's why I chose to do the triangle, because I'm going to show you how I come up with the look that I want to do for my Frankenstein piece. So I laid down the triangle. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, and so you guys can see me as I'm drawing. I forgot I have my webcam on. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to make this a very stylized drawing. And what I mean by that is I'm not going to try to do exact, anatomy. I'm just going to go with a very stylized look, So there I got my eyes. That's where I'm going to keep my eyes at. Then I'm going to come down here. I'm going to do a triangle. And this triangle right here is going to establish where I'm going to have my nose. So I'm going to keep my nose about right here. And I'm going to put my mouth about right here. Okay? So we have the line where I'm establishing where I'm going to have my eyes at. I'm I'm gonna have the nose somewhere in here. It doesn't have to. I'm not gonna be exact with it. And then I'm gonna have the lips, and probably I'll just I want to put that in right now. So here is my basic structure of the face that I'm going to have for my Frankenstein. So as you can see, it's the main triangle here, which is going to be where the outline of the head is going to go. Then I have this triangle shape here, which is just these two lines. Kind of looks like a triangle. And we have these smaller triangles. Okay. So then I have the nose, which is going to go here, and the lips, where the lips connect, right there. So in this area here, I'll have my nose, not my nose, but my ears will go. I'll put those in later. And then as you'll see, I'll start to build on top of this. This is my outline. This is my basic rough outline of how I want to structure the illustration. So I'm going to go in first. I'm going to drop the opacity down to about 49. Okay, so that's good. So what I want to do now is I'm going to go up to the top layer above it, the sketch 1, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to trying to decide if I want to keep I'll keep the color the same on the pencil tool. So what I want to do now is I'm going to go in and bring this up a little bit, and I want to start to put in a little bit of detail, just some outline. Do like this. And I always start with the eyes. If you've watched my videos before and you heard me talk, I always start with the eyes. I'm going to make this, like I said, classic Frankenstein. He's going to have the scowl. I want him to have the big forehead, the big brow, the really squared off jawline. Those details that when you see him, you know it's him. So I'll throw this in there like this. And as you can see, my symmetry tool is working. So then I'll come over and I'll start to just define that brow a little bit. Bring it up like this, making it very, very squared off and very angular. And I kind of jump around a lot. So the nose, I try to get to lock in details quickly. So I want to give him a very broad nose. So I'm going to start from the eyes down, come here where my line is for the nose that I have established. And I'm just going to make a little shape like this, make another shape like this, and give him some nostrils here. So we have our rough outline of the nose. I'm going to come down, give him a mouth, and let me go on and erase that a little bit. There, take some of that extra off. Pencil tool, just gonna go in like this, and he's gonna have that scowl. So I'm gonna drop that mouth down a little bit like this, and then now kind of go back over to the side of the face. And Frankenstein is basically the undead. He's a zombie, so I want to try to establish that, give him a very gaunt look. And while I'm going to go on and work on the head up here, get that going. And he has that squared off head, so I'm going to do it like that. And everything here is not precise. Doesn't mean I'm going to keep it like this. I just need to do my rough in here like this, and I'll try not to do a lot of erasing right now or corrections right now, only if I feel it's necessary. So right now we have, this is his forehead area, this is brow, or his forehead is brow right here. We have the nose, the beginnings of the nose, the inner jawline right here. I'm going to take it down a little bit, and now I want to go in here and I want to establish the bottom lip. Do like this, just to give me some type of context is where I am with the jawline, the lower jawline. So like I said, I want to give him that strong jawline, so I'm going to keep it around the contour, around the original triangle shape outline that I have, just to kind of give me some direction. I don't have to follow it completely. Come in here, I'm going to Just give him like this. Give him, let's see. Let me go back. There we go. Okay. I want to make his jaw, his chin just a little bit more. A little bit heavier. Give him a really, really heavy jawline to establish that strong, brute-like jawline. Okay, so I'll move it back up, and now I'll come in and I'll lay the ear, just the outline of the ear a little bit, so I know where I'm going with it. There, kind of give him some nice heavy what am I trying to say? Pronounced. That's the word. Pronounced ears to kind of go with the heaviness of his face. Drawing some lines right here, and this just gives me enough detail to go in on top of this layer and start to actually rough out some of the final design. Okay, so here with this head, we know that Frankenstein has that really kind of large cranium, and we're gonna say, let's say that, when the doctor, took off the top of his skull, he had to take it off, had to cut it off, pull it off, do whatever he did inside his head, his brain, put another brain or whatever, and then so he had to put the head, he had to reattach the top of the skull to his head. So around right off in here, I want to establish where I want that stitch line. So I'm gonna come like this. I'm gonna just put that in there like this, and I'm not happy with that. Let's go. See, and even when I'm doing my sketch work, I'm still a little OCD. So I want to round it off a little bit like this, like that. Not too much, like this. Let's see. Okay, maybe not. Let's keep it about right there. We'll say his stitch line is there. So I'm keeping that in mind. So I want to have sort of like, kind of like where there's almost a crease where he had the stitches at. And the stitches, if you see them, if the stitch line is about right here, then he has these big metal pieces that go over that, I guess, where they actually like staples. So I'm quickly going to add those staples in there like this, and I'm not trying to be very precise, and I think I'm going to put one main one right here, this, like that. No, there. Whoops. Sometimes the symmetry tool can be a pain. There, we'll just throw that in there for right now so we know what we're gonna have at. And I'll put this one here. So he has these clamps or metal staples in his head like this, and here I have the line. So I'm gonna make that line a little bit more pronounced in there so I can see it. And we have a staple on each side over there. So here we have the head. So what I'll do is, let me see how much. Oh yeah, I got plenty. Okay, I thought I was running out of space up here. So here we want to establish where his hair is going to be. So I'm just going to do something very simple. I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to go over here. I'm going to give him a nice little kind of like, I'm just going to make some there, and that's not going to go. Take that out. I don't like how that's dangling there. I'm just laying that in. And then I'm going to come up and it's going to be the top of his head. I'm going and I'm going to, like this. Just laying something in there so I have a reference point. So when I actually go in and do the hair, I'm not going to have the symmetry tool on there because as you can see, I don't want it to look like it's all the same. But I'm just throwing this in here as reference. So when I do the actual, I go over the drawing again, I have as much information as I need to do this. And that's what I normally try to do. So around here, he's not going to really have any hair on the sides. I'm going to leave him just like that. And so we got that up there. Sorry about that. Let's see. Okay. Brush size. There we go. I'm trying to zoom in a little bit, zoom out, see where my zoom in and zoom out went. All right, so as you can see, I have the basic outline of his face. Okay, so this is all I need. So on this layer also, what I can do is I might throw in just a little bit of detail to see where I want to work with on the next layer to see how this is working out. So here I'll start to throw in just some things to keep me aware of where I want to go with the next sketch. Just a little bit of info. So we know Frankenstein is a zombie, basically. So he's dead, and he's been what do you say? Brought back from the dead. So his skin would be very gaunt. It would be very wrinkly. So that's why I'm throwing these lines in here to give him the gaunt look around under his eyes, around the brow, around the face here, and doing a little bit of rendering just to, like I said, put in information to let me know where I want to go with the next part of the sketch. I draw a little here. I'll put in a little bit of info up in there. So as you can see, probably put more wrinkles up in his forehead like this. So as you can see, I'm just, bringing things in here to kind of set it off a little bit. And like I said, I want him very menacing, so I just darken this up in here. As you can see, that instantly just brings in more of a menacing look just by adding more in there. So there you go. Over here. And okay, so that's layer number 2. So what I want to do now is I'm going to take out the bottom layer with the triangle, with our basic outline of the face. I'm going to drop the opacity of this layer right here down to, let's say, 40. So I'm going to go on the top of that layer. Let me drop it down a little bit more. Oops. So drop this one a little bit more. Okay. So what I want to do now is I'm going to go over this layer and add a little bit more detail, but the finalizing kind of detail that I want in there to when I actually go back, if I want to ink this drawing, that's what I'll focus on. That way I'm not doing too much, and I'm only focusing on the lines on this layer. So like I said, I'll just go back in here and I'll tighten up this one. So I'll start again with the eyes. The eyes here. Come down the nose. So here I pretty much have all the info I need. So this is just a phase where I'm just going in and I'm doing what I got to do. And if you notice, there's certain areas where I'm not going to go in and I'm not going to like complete the lines. Like right off in here, I'm not connecting everything like I was before. I'm kind of leaving things open so I can come in and I can just maybe fill that in later with color if I want to. Excuse me, losing my voice. Going here, throwing some of those lines there, and I just want to work my way. I'll go down here, and again, I want that really firm jaw. Go like this. There we go. And then when I do go into ink this, I'll have the symmetry tool on some of it, just like the outline of the face, maybe, or maybe not. It just depends on how I'm feeling at the time. Let me go in and take some of this out. And again, we as artists, sometimes we tend to obsess, or I know I do, on the sketch. And this is just a sketch, so I don't need to be as precise, but I'm trying to get as much information in here just to give you guys an idea of how I do my work. So like I said, this is where I start to go in and I start to give the character personality. I'll say that, give him some personality. So come in here, and like I said, I just want to give those details to give him that very traditional Frankenstein look, so when you see him, you know exactly who this is. Excuse me. Why does that always happen when you're talking a lot? You start to lose your voice. So there's some of these lines in here. There, I'll come in here, give him that aged, very withered, very zombie-esque look, especially right here. You can see right here. Run some lines right here. Have a little bit over here, and then I want to give him that scowl so we know he's about his business. Okay. So now I'll work my way back up here. Put some more lines in here, over here, and I'm going to start with these staples. Like I said, I have just enough information in there that I can put these staples in there. And as you can see, I'm not going all the way up like I did in the previous drawing because I want to have that hair. Let's see if I can do this one. Okay, we got that. Okay, there. So now what I want to do is I'm going to, let's see. So what I want to do now is I'm going to go on a layer above this. I'm going to create another layer, and it won't have the symmetry tool on there. So we'll create, let's see, go back, undo, I want to do a vector layer. There we go, new vector layer. So this is the layer where I'm going to actually do the hair, but I'm going to do the hair in a more natural style as opposed to looking like it was done in the symmetry tool. So go back to my pencil. So let's see, make sure everything is looking good. There we go. So here I'll just kind of work around the staples. On the layer up under that, and there we go. So as you can see, I'm just throwing that in there. Come up here, and I'm gonna, oops, go back. It's a little bit too much. Over here, maybe throw that up a little bit, like this. Then come down here. Continue to do this, and maybe, oops, put that down a little bit. Like I said, I just want to give it a natural, more natural look, as opposed to making it look like everything looks the same on each side. Make this down here a little bit. Here, there. And like I said, I'm not gonna have any hair down here on the side because we want to assume that he just had hair on the top. And here in this layer, I can go on. I'll just for the sake of doing what we're doing, I'll just throw in the staples here. And so As you can see, you can't see the actual stitch line. So what I'd probably do is I'd probably go back in here and work on that a little bit, or to maybe take the hair back a little bit. But if we take it out, we can see that we have our basic design, and there we have it. So this is what I would do for my Frankenstein. And as you can see the layer up under it. But if I go in here and take that layer out, all you have is this one. Okay. And then, like I said, I would go back in and maybe take out, go back here, take out some of the hair, so you can, if I actually want to show the stitch line, or drop it down here and do that. And let's see, I can actually, let me take that off. See? And there you have it. I have my Frankenstein sketch. So when I go back over this, I would create another layer on top of this one, and I would actually lower the opacity on this one and go on and knock out an ink layer, or do another layer on top of this one. Let's see, I'm gonna roll those in there a little bit. There. And like I said, I just go back in here and just add more details. And that's if I want to go in and ink it later. So yeah, there we have it, Frankenstein. And then also I can go in and I'll go on top of here if I want to go in and lay, like, you know, some more stitches. I'll go and do something like this. Just lay like a stitch line. We have stitches on this side of his face. Come up here under the jaw, do one here, and you don't want to do too much, you just want to do enough. Do another one, like maybe like over here on the side of the head, kind of like this, there, and there you have it. Do another one maybe over here, just for good measure. Keep it very loose, and that kind of lets me know what I want to do, where I want to go with that. And that's pretty much it. You know, this is how I would start this sketch, using the symmetry tool, and then take it off when I didn't want to use it. Just go to another layer on top of that, and yeah, that's it. So as you can see, I did a quick Frankenstein drawing, just to get in the mood for the holiday of Halloween. This is just a quick sketch, an outline. I showed you all the process. Go through all the layers again over here. And let me add my triangle there and there. There you see the build up. So we have the bottom layer, which is the outline, the triangle, the layer on top of that one, which was the first sketch, the second sketch, and then the one I did the hair on to give it a more natural look. I didn't have the symmetry tool on that one. That's everything in there, and basically that's it. Hope you liked this video. If you liked this video, let me know what you thought about it. Hit me in the like comments, and I'll see you in the next Drawing Monsters video. All right, that's it. See you in the next video. Later.